Welcome back to JR Pro Shop Vids, everyone. Today is league day. This week we're doing all 4 games of league. You can see how Jungo battles the transition, and man, today was a battle. All right, game 1 of league. Jungo, we're starting with the IQ 78U. This ball is at 3,000 grit. I didn't want it to be too dull because otherwise it would just hook a little too early. It would force my feet a little too far left, and then it would have nothing left down lane. So I kind of, sanded it a little higher to 3,000 just to give me a little less grab early. And it seemed to work out pretty well. I was standing on 12, my eyes were on 11 at the arrows, and I was trying to throw that ball pretty parallel towards the lane. Maybe a little baby swing to the right was okay, just a couple boards though. Any more than that, and it had trouble coming back up the hill and hitting the pocket. Bowled a pretty solid game, couple 10 pins, bunch of strikes there early, and then once we got towards the end of the game, I could definitely see my ball kind of laboring a little bit a couple times where I missed a little left and it kind of held its line and it smashed the pocket. So that was a sign for me that I had to kind of parallel to the right a little bit just because there was hold, a little left of target. So I thought moving a little right, 1 and 1 right would help me, create a little bit more room for error. Pretty solid game up until the 10th frame. Just missed a little bit further right than I wanted to. Ball just didn't quite make it back up the hill, left a 210 and squandered a really good game. Ended up shooting 214. Game 2, starting in the same spot that I ended game 1. I'm now standing on 11 and looking at 10, trying to hit that second arrow. If I missed a little right, it was okay. It would start to hook a little earlier and come back to the pocket. If I missed a little left, the ball would hold its line. Didn't quite have that right entry angle, and I would wrap a 10 pin if I missed a little left, but bowled a really good game for the first 7 frames. Just a 10 pin there, bunch of strikes, and then, I got a little grabby with it, left a 4 pin in the 8th, and then I grabbed it again on the spare shot, and I missed it left. How embarrassing. Missing single pins in league. Brutal. With that being said, the line was still good, ball reaction was still good. Ended the game with a 234. And I saw one of my teammates, his ball starting to have a little bit of hold, at 10. A little left of my target there. So now I thought the reactive ball would come into play. The urethane ball is starting to hook a little early, and it's not quite having that finish down lane to corner and take out those corner pins. So I thought I would start the next game with the reactive ball, the Storm Ion Pro, and move my feet way to the left and kind of use that hold that I've been creating with the urethane ball there as part of my advantage. As you can see, the first frame, I missed a little right, ball barely hooked, washout. Brutal count, almost made the spare, just hit the head pin a little heavy, but we start the game off with a 5-3. This is not just a blind guess. The previous weeks, this is where the league pattern has gotten, and this is where I bowled some big scores with this ball on this kind of similar line. So that's where I thought today's transition was going. So as you can see, the third frame here, pretty good shot, tripped a 4 pin. The ball hooked a little bit more than I expected, so I was kind of wavering of what to do. Should I go back to my urethane ball? Do I stick it out with this reactive ball, just adjust a little bit? I wasn't sure, so I had to think about it. Next shot, pull it again, straight through the face again. Got lucky though, just left the 610. Got a little sticky on the approach, shooting the spare, missed the spare. Brutal, another mismakeable in league, unacceptable. So after that, I figured the reactive ball, it wasn't ready for the reactive ball yet. I wasted a bunch of frames, I wasted a bunch of pins. Went back to my urethane ball, got a nice strike there on the right lane. Back to the left lane, my urethane ball is hooking too early, nothing down lane. My reactive ball just got too much off the back end. If I miss left, it's through the face. And if I miss too far to the right, it's a washout. I feel just handcuffed, not sure what to do. 9 spare in the 8th, 9th frame, back to the right lane, punch out all 3 strikes through 3 really good ones in a row. And that's how Jungo shoots, 144. So from that point on, I figured the urethane ball is dead. Just hooks too early, nothing down lane. Gotta use reactive. The Ion Pro seems to be the smoothest ball I got with me, so the Ion Pro it is. The next game, I bowled pretty solid. Couple 10 pins, couple 4 pins, make all my spares. 1 bad shot in the 9th. We get 7-2. We punch all 3 in. Hey, I punched out the 4th game. I wrote that down right. So all in all, pretty solid game in the 4th. Bunch of 9 spares, few strikes, 1 open in the 9th, split, of course. Punch out in the 10th, 194. Jungo shoots 786 for 4 on a challenge pattern in league tonight. Not my best, definitely not my best. Not my average. We're gonna be prepared for next week. We're gonna switch the pattern up for next week in league. The next quarter is a new pattern, longer, better for me. But as you can see, the battle of transition, You know, it's never easy. You just never know when the right time to switch from the urethane ball to the reactive ball is, and then once you switch, it's still kind of a guess where you gotta aim at the arrows. You know, you're not sure what your ball's gonna do really. So you need to spend a few frames and kind of figure that out. So today, challenge pattern in league, I brought 4 balls. Probably should have brought like 8 because I shot 144. 144 is not good for brackets out there, okay? Jungle's donator today, not good. Let me know in the comments below how many balls you bring to league. Jungle usually brings 4 or 5. I should probably just bring 6, have a full arsenal, not be guessing what the lanes are giving me. Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Jimoo's next. We got his 4 games of league. Let's see if I beat him with my 786 series.
Jimoo, back here. Let's see how I did in the 4 games of league tonight. Now, I was in the middle of the house, and on this pattern for the last 5 weeks, I have thrown nothing but one type of ball. And yes, you've guessed it, it's urethane. I've been throwing purple a lot. I've been flirting around with the pitch black, the 78D from Hammer, but tonight I was able to throw my short pin purple. And I say short pin because I actually have 2 purples here today, but we'll get a little bit more on that later. Getting to the bowling, I started off with my feet around 20, and I'm just having a nice baby swing out to about 5 at the break point and trying to have the most smooth, consistent reaction on the fresh. The fresh is usually when the lanes have the cleanest back ends because no bowling balls have been thrown. So urethane provides that early, smooth, and controlled motion that I'm looking for on the fresh. Starting off strong in this game 1, I throw quite a few strikes. If I miss, it was mainly with my release. I was going a little bit too forward and the ball wouldn't come back, leaving a 2-pin combination with something else. But overall, no complaints with the purple hammer in game 1. I only had to move a couple with my feet. And as you can see with all these shots, I look fairly comfortable out there. Also mentioning that my team and the rest on the pair were all strokers or a lefty, all playing down 10 board basically, and I could play left of all of them with the urethane bowling ball. That's the advantage I have as a 2-hander with a lot of rev rate. Moving forward from there, I wanted to stick with what was working, so I continue with that purple hammer and started this game off really good as well. Spare, then a 5-bagger. As we move on throughout the night, I can tell that my urethane ball is actually hooking a lot, so I moved a little bit more with my feet into the pattern. I changed my axis rotation a little bit where I could get a little more around the ball to have a little bit more reaction off the end of the pattern. This game is shaping up to look really good. Unfortunately, got a little too excited, missed the head pin, and then I went light, leaving a 7-8, almost made it, but didn't, and then we split in the 10th. So just because we started strong in that game, you still got to finish. There's another 5 more frames in that game, so finish off with a 223 in that one. So sitting at 460 after 2, feeling pretty good. Urethane's still looking okay. As I start game 3, I start to notice that this short pin urethane is rolling really early, and it's not really giving me a lot in the back end. And that's mainly because of transition, as Jungo was mentioning. For my pair, I was the only one throwing urethane, so I noticed that I was getting caught in my own transition. With that being said, I pulled out my second urethane bowling ball. This one had a taller pin, so it saves a little more energy for the back end and has a sharper reaction, which was perfect on this condition. Went strike, spare, and then another 4-bagger. Felt pretty good, pretty comfortable. This ball, I was able to swing to the dry and have a consistent reaction back to the pocket. Love seeing that. I love throwing any ball where it gives me miss room. And that's mainly what you try to do in league. You don't really need to perfect every single shot, but mainly look for the ball that's gonna give you the most amount of miss room, and then you can throw to that area so you can have the highest possibility of a strike. I noticed at the end of this game, my reaction was starting to go away. Transition, again, it's always happening as you throw more bowling balls. Not only you, but also the people throwing the balls around you. The lanes kept changing, and this ball now started to labor. Didn't really carry the way I wanted it to. It was either going too sharp or too flat through the pocket, and that's how I knew it was time to change. Still finished with a 234 that game, so we're sitting at 694 after 3 games. That's a pretty good series, just below 700, so I was feeling pretty good. At this point in the final game, I know that my urethanes aren't looking too good, so it's time to move into reactive. And similar to Jungo, so from there, I tried to move into the pattern with my No Doubt. I've been flirting around with this ball, symmetric pearl. It's looked really good on dried up lanes. I wanted to see if my urethane carry down was gonna give me enough hold in the middle where I could throw it there and lay there, or I could throw it outside to the dry and have that ball snap back. Was I successful? Kinda. Kinda just wanted to see a lot of motion in the back end. Maybe a little unnecessary, but we had fun. Where I finished with the urethane ball standing at 25, I jumped another 7 boards left for this no doubt, swinging it all the way out, and then I went 2-8-10. Definitely not a good reaction, so I straightened up the angle a little bit, moved a little further right with my feet, and then we got into a sweet spot. We threw a nice 3-bagger in there, and then we left a 4-9, unfortunately. The 9 was a little weird, almost spared it, but didn't. It was super weird. So 6 frames into the game, we got 3 strikes, we got 3 open frames. Not looking too good. But we decided to stick with the no doubt as it was giving us some strikes, kept trying, it kept leaving single pins, and by the end of it, we bowled a 179. Not bad, not great, a little unfortunate. But altogether, we bowled 873. You know, it's a decent night. It's a decent night where you bowl average or slightly above average. It was mainly because of the urethane reaction. So one note, when you're bowling league, if you have a consistent reaction with one ball, there's really no need to change to another. These urethane balls were giving me a consistent line to the pocket. I had a range of miss room that I could miss into, and it was giving me strikes. And that's all you really need. Me going to the no doubt was kind of unnecessary. We wanted to experiment a little bit, but ultimately hurt the score a little bit. Once again, that was a league night with Jungo and Jimoo. It was really fun altogether. We had quite a few fun nights on this shorter pattern, but now we're excited to go to a little bit longer one. As Jungo asked before, let us know down in the comments below how many bowling balls you bring to league. I personally bring 6, about half of them being urethane depending on the pattern, but we want to know what you bring. If you like the league videos, let us know down in the comments below. Let us know if there's a challenge that you want us to try in a future vid. We like doing this and we're super excited to see what you have to say. Jimoo out, Jungo out. We'll see you in the next league vid. Bye.